It feels so good to come home, especially with a little victory. Oliver was returning from a rotational job where he had worked for almost a month and received not only a salary but also a bonus. He wished he could be closer to his family and see his family more often, but he couldn't find a decent job with a good salary in his small town. During this month, he managed to earn more money than he would have earned in 6 months in his hometown. And the fact that he was returning not to a luxurious mansion or a comfortable apartment, but to an old shabby house, didn't upset him at all. The house where Oliver was born and raised seemed to him now to be a kingdom of coziness, goodness, and love, because the most important thing is not expensive furniture and decoration, but the family that waits for him in this house. He has a beloved wife and children, and he was willing to work as hard as he could for them. They are waiting for him, not for the money that he will bring. They love him, and he is in a hurry to see his loved ones because Christmas is coming, and they should celebrate it all together. He and his wife dreamed of a new apartment, preferably in the heart of the big city. In this case, Oliver would not have to leave for a long time, but would be able to find a good job near his home. This will definitely happen someday because Oliver and Maria not only dream but also work hard to make their dreams come true. That's what the man was thinking about, waiting for the bus that would take him home. "Excuse me, mister. Could you please borrow me some money for the bus ticket?" A quiet female voice interrupted Oliver's reflections. He raised his head irritably. Alcoholics and bums often ask him for money at train and bus stations, telling sad stories about being robbed or something like that. Although it was clear at first glance that if he gives them money, they won't spend it to buy a ticket or food. They'll buy alcohol. However, this time the situation was different. The woman who approached him was young, pretty, and even well-dressed, though not according to the season. Moreover, she had a little boy sleeping in her arms. In general, she looked good and well off, but her exhausted face and the despair in her eyes indicated the hopelessness of the situation the young mother had found herself in. "I'll pay you back, I promise. I have money, but I need to get home." The woman was talking with increasing desperation. Probably everyone else has already refused to borrow her some money. Oliver realized he was not dealing with a fraud, but with a person in trouble. "Yes, sure, I'll help," he muttered, distracted from his thoughts. "You must be hungry. I'll buy you a ticket, but the bus will arrive in a few hours. Let's go to the cafe for some food and hot tea." The girl nodded and smiled weakly, and her eyes filled with tears. "I'll definitely pay you back, I promise. Just give me your address or phone number." "You don't have to pay anything back. Let's go to the cafe. It's cold here. Why don't you give me your child? You must be tired of holding him." "No, don't worry. He can work on his own. He's just tired." Oliver let the woman go ahead and followed her, looking at her clothes. She was wearing a stylish coat. Probably it was expensive, but it wasn't a winter coat. It wasn't too cold today, but if the temperature dropped a few degrees, she'd be cold. Plus she had no hat or scarf. Her high-heeled boots are nice too, but it's not the kind of boots you wear to work in the snow. You wear them to drive a car. What happened to her? Anyway, if she wants to, she'll tell everything. In the cafe, they sat down at a table and took the menu. Here, in the bright light, Oliver saw how exhausted and hungry his new friends were. "Don't be shy. Order everything you want," the man said. "By the way, my name is Oliver. I am Olivia. And this is my son, Thomas." The girl smiled. They ordered food and drinks. Oliver wasn't hungry, but he still ordered a meal so as not to embarrass the girl. And he was surprised to see how the girl ate, strictly according to the rules of etiquette. But she was very hungry. During lunch, Oliver briefly told Olivia about himself so that his new female friend could relax. He told he was in a hurry to see his beloved family, his wife and children. Olivia did relax, and some hope appeared in her eyes. "Thank you so much, Oliver. I thought we were really going to die here. You're the only one who was willing to help us. I have neither money nor a cell phone. Have you been robbed?" Oliver suggested. Oliver twirled the teaspoon in her hands and looked at her son, who was enjoying the whipped cream and fruit. "It would be more correct to say that I have robbed myself. I was living a wonderful life, but I ruined my own life. I lost everything." The girl smiled sadly and told her sad story. She married a wealthy entrepreneur when she was very young. Olivia really loved her husband. He loved her too. He was willing to do anything for his young wife. The only problem was that he spent all his time at work. At first, they had a wonderful life. Olivia gave birth to a son, Thomas, and the family was happy. But over time, my husband was always at work. The housekeeper took care of the household. The nanny took care of the baby. And at first, I even liked this kind of life. Shopping, beauty salons, fitness clubs. But then I got bored. Everyone was busy with something, and I seemed like I was unnecessary there. Why should I be beautiful? Why should I look good, dress up, and put on makeup? My husband didn't notice me at all. I tried to explain it to him, but he worked days and nights, and he didn't understand what I was talking about. I don't think you understand either. Oliver understood, but for a moment, he felt contempt for this girl. What a hard life. She was sick of idleness. I wish my wife Maria had that kind of problem. The man thought. Oliver tried to imagine what his wife was doing now. Is she shoveling snow off the driveway, cooking dinner, or maybe counting the money left before Oliver arrives? Meanwhile, Olivia continued her story. No matter how many times I tried to get my husband's attention, he only asked what I was lacking. And I was lacking life. I needed attention, love, and maybe even some sadness because my life was empty. Last summer, my husband promised that we would go on vacation together, but then something changed. He told us to go without him. It hurt me so much. Then I found a guy on social media that I dated when I was young, before I got married. You know, he showed me so much attention, sympathy, and love. Then he invited me to his city. I didn't think long and went to see him. I didn't take anything with me. No money, no jewelry. Just my son and some clothes for the first time. Olivia stopped talking and turned to her son. She wiped his chin and adjusted his clothes. "Are you full, dear?" she asked her son, Thomas. "Say thank you to Oliver." "Thank you," Thomas said. "It was yummy, just like at home. At home where my daddy lives." "Are we going there now?" "Right, Mom." "Yes, honey. We're going to your daddy." New life didn't work out. Oliver guessed. There was no chance a new life would work out. I don't know what my lover was thinking about when he asked me to live with him. He said that he was ready to give me and my child a perfect life. But when I arrived, it turned out that he lived in a small village, in a house with his mom, who was not happy to see me there. I couldn't just enjoy my life there. I had to help with the household chores. And it was a psychological trauma for Thomas. I left my husband because I wanted to, and I was ready for the hardships. But Thomas wasn't ready for that. He had a beautiful life provided for him by his father, and suddenly he found himself in poverty in a small shabby house. This man, Samuel, started telling me to get a job. But how? I have a very good education, but no experience at all. Thomas was crying all the time, and Samuel's mother was yelling. Everything was terrible. I could just call my husband and ask him to come and pick us up. But how could I dare to do that? I don't even know what he went through when I left. And I don't know what would have happened to us if you hadn't helped us. Thank you. Tears came to the girl's eyes again. I don't know what's going to happen now either. But don't worry. I'll pay you back, even if my husband kicks me out. I have something to sell there. Don't think about the money. Here, take this. Oliver pulled an envelope from his pocket with his salary and bonus and gave it to Olivia. There's a hotel nearby. Get some rest. And you need to buy a hat. It's very cold outside. And then go home safely. Your husband will be happy to see you, but it's all your money." Olivia muttered in confusion. "That's okay. I have some more. I've already bought gifts for my family. They're waiting for me at home. Everything will be fine. Take it. Don't be shy. I'll give you my address and my phone number. When you get home, call me and let me know if you're okay. And if you can, then give me the money back." "I can't even believe I've met such a generous man," Olivia whispered. Heavy tears rolled down her cheeks, but they were tears of joy. Oliver got on the bus that would soon bring him home. Yes, he and Maria needed the money too, but they were together, and they would always be together, no matter what. She might be upset when she found out he hadn't brought the money, but she would understand and forgive him when she knew all the details of the situation. Oliver didn't understand why he had done that. Okay, he'd given Olivia money for a ticket and paid for lunch, but why had he given his entire salary? He just felt like it was the right thing to do. Maybe he saved her life. It would be good if her rich husband would just scold her but let her in. But what if he wouldn't even let her on his doorstep? Anyway, Oliver did the right thing. Now his conscience will not torment him. With these thoughts in mind, he walked up to his house. His dearest people, his wife Maria, and his children, 7-year-old David and 5-year-old Kate, ran out to meet him. "Yay! I told you Daddy was coming today. I knew it." Kate was jumping happily. "Mommy and I knew it too," David said cheerfully. "Come on, calm down." Oliver pulled away, laughing happily. Oliver was a little nervous because he had to tell his wife what had happened, but he knew she would understand. He quickly hid the gifts he planned to give his children for Christmas. "I got a gift for you too. A new dress." Oliver pulled out a bag. "Okay, thank you. Did you get the money? Did they pay you the full amount?" "Yes, both the salary and the bonus. But I don't have that money now. I need to tell you something." Oliver briefly told Maria what had happened. "So you mean you gave all your money to some irresponsible girl? Are you kidding me?" "No, Maria. And please, don't say that." "What a wonderful person you are, Oliver. You're so kind and honorable. I'm so proud of you. You gave all our money to some hottie. Well done. You worked a whole month so that some strange girl could sleep in a hotel. Did she let you into her room?" "No. Why not? She could have thanked you." "Come on, darling. Don't say that. Please try to understand. I couldn't have left her like that. If you saw her, you'd do the same thing. Seriously. If I saw a girl who cheated on her husband and was left with no money, well, okay, I feel sorry for her, but I feel more sorry for myself and our children. David is growing up very fast. His winter boots are getting small. I was gonna buy new ones tomorrow. Have you seen Kate's jacket? No. Well, go and see what your daughter's wearing. And don't forget to open the fridge. There's not even enough food to cook something for Christmas. I'm not even gonna talk about the house we live in. I guess we're going to die in it when it collapses on us." Maria turned away and cried helplessly. Oliver didn't know how to comfort her, for she was right. They really didn't have the ability to help others, and they had no one to help them. For 10 years, they'd been surviving on their own as best they could, and they were always short of money. Oliver traveled to work in other cities. Maria worked at the local store, but there was still not enough money. The hope of buying a small apartment in the big city was slowly fading away. They got married 10 years ago. They had no money at all, but they were madly in love, and nothing had changed since then. Maria and Oliver had just graduated from university at that time. Maria had lived in the big city all her life, and Oliver had moved there to study. At first, they decided to stay in the city, although the young couple had no place to live there. Maria's parents had a small 2-bedroom apartment, but Maria's parents, her brother, and his wife lived there. Oliver and Maria rented an apartment, but it took almost all of their money. Soon, when it turned out that Oliver's mother was seriously ill and needed help, they decided to move to a small neighboring town. At first, Everything was going well. Oliver and Maria got a job. Soon Maria gave birth to David and later to Kate. However, Oliver's mother died, and after that things started to get worse. They had problems with their job, and therefore with money. They had many plans. They planned to become farmers, to work hard, and thus to improve their financial situation. But their dreams were quickly shattered by harsh reality. They had to look for work far away from their home. And although the salaries were not bad, it was almost impossible to save money. Their children were growing up, and they needed a lot of things. The fact that this time Oliver gave his money to a strange girl was not such a serious problem. They would survive without that money. Moreover, Olivia had promised to pay Oliver back. It might not be as soon as they would like, but it would happen. The girl could not deceive her savior. But Maria was still offended, and it was understandable. She was waiting for her husband with his salary. "Maria, please, do not get upset." He walked up to his wife and hugged her by the shoulders. "How can I not be upset?" Maria wondered. "How can I explain to our children that all the shopping I promised them is being postponed again for an unspecified period of time? What should I tell people? I promised I'd pay for the Christmas party at school and kindergarten tomorrow. And how are we supposed to celebrate Christmas? We have nothing at all. We'll have everything." "Don't worry." Oliver tried to reassure her. "What did you do it for? For who? For some fool who decided to leave her husband? I could understand it if it was some person who was in serious trouble. Why didn't this girl call her husband and ask him for money? Do you realize that even without your money, she's living a life we never even dreamed of? Now she's sitting in her fancy house drinking expensive wine and laughing at you. The amount of money you gave her is nothing to people like them. But for us, you are right. Forgive me, Maria. I thought the same thing when I talked to Olivia. It was my fault. I know. Her husband managed to provide a beautiful life for her. But I failed to provide a good life for you. But I'll try harder. I promise I'll work even harder." "Oliver, that's not what I'm talking about. Yes, I need a good house. I need money. But most importantly, I need you. I need you alive, healthy, and by my side. If you go away not for a month, but for 3 months, in just a year, you will literally ruin your own health. It's certainly not going to make our lives better. We need to think about how to change something. We need to figure out what we can do to make our lives better without ruining our health. I'm sorry, Oliver. I shouldn't have reproached you so much for your kind deed. I knew you'd understand me, my love. I promise I'll change our lives for the better in the new year. But now, try on your new dress. I'm sure it will suit you well." Maria was happy to see the dress of her dreams. "We are going to have the best holiday ever, and next year will be better than all the previous ones. I'm sure there's happiness waiting for us. You know, honey, I'm sure of that, too. Maybe we were just doing something wrong before. But things will work out. I'm sure of it." The next day was already a happy one. In the morning, the family began to prepare for the most joyful and wonderful holiday. They didn't have a big Christmas tree in the house, as there was no space for it. But they had a beautiful Christmas tree growing in their backyard. They decorated the whole house, rejoicing at the magical transformation and forgetting about the imperfections of their home. During the winter holidays, their house ceased to be so ugly and in need of repair. Maria was cooking a holiday dinner. There wasn't that much food, but it was really delicious. Everything was almost ready when suddenly a dog barked in the yard, and someone knocked on the door. "Santa Claus!" David shouted in excitement and rushed to open the door. Maria and Oliver looked at each other. They hadn't hired Santa Claus. It was probably one of the neighbors. But it turned out that their son was right, because that day, a real miracle visited their house. They saw 2 unfamiliar men on the threshold. The older one, with gray hair and wearing an expensive suit, looked at Oliver and asked, "Hello, are you Oliver? My name is Lionel. I'm Olivia's husband, the one you met at the bus stop." "Oh, wow, I hope she and Thomas got home safely. Is everything okay? Yes, everything's fine. This is my bodyguard. Andrew, put it here please and wait for me at the car. These are gifts for you and the kids. He pointed to the brightly colored bags. Thank you. Please come in and have lunch with us. Maria invited him. That's not necessary. I stopped by just for a minute. I just wanted to thank you for helping my wife. Although I have something serious to talk to you about. There you go. Does he suspect me of doing something bad with his wife? Oliver thought anxiously. But looking into the man's serious gray eyes, he calmed down. First of all, I wanted to thank you. You really saved my wife. She's just a young woman. She did a foolish thing. It happens. It may seem strange that I forgave her for doing that, but I'm actually glad we got through it. It's been a great therapy for my bored wife. She thought that with a new man, she would live the same luxurious life, but that her man would always be with her. Well, now she knows how this life works and realizes that such miracles as meeting you, Oliver, happen only once in a lifetime. She has realized a lot of things and even decided to get a job. I hope that now we will start a new life. Of course, I will also change my behavior a lot. Well, that's great. I was really worried about her. I mean, she's a nice woman, and she was so worried about what she'd done. She was so afraid of the consequences. And you have a wonderful son. Thank you. And thank you for what you've done for them. And I want to change your life a little bit, too. Gifts for children are only a small part of it. But the main gift is here. The man pulled out a thin folder. This is the papers for your new apartment downtown. What apartment? What are you talking about? Oliver asked in confusion. Maria was looking at the man in shock and confusion too. Your new 5-bedroom apartment in a nice neighborhood. We need to finish some paperwork now, and you can move in right after the Christmas holidays. The neighborhood is lovely. You'll like it. There's a kindergarten, a school, and a healthcare center nearby. You'll be able to find a good job and live happily there. I can't believe it. Maria mumbled with tears in her eyes. Is it true? Oliver, please, wake me up. It's some kind of miracle. But I don't believe in miracles. But miracles do happen. Lionel replied. My wife couldn't believe it either when your husband agreed to help her. She had asked many people for help before Oliver, but they only insulted and mocked her. She had no hope of ever getting home. So, believe me, miracles do happen. Especially since Christmas is just around the corner. Okay, now I have to go. I'll visit you after the holidays. We'll complete the paperwork, and you can move in. The man left, but Oliver and Maria remained sitting at the table in total shock, while their children marveled at the new unusual toys they had never dreamed of. It was Santa Claus. Little Kate asked. He didn't have a beard. No beard. But with miracles, sweetie. Oliver stroked his daughter's head. Go and play with your new toys for a while. Mommy and I need to talk. But they didn't really know what to talk about. The couple were examining the papers and keys that they would probably use to open the door of their new apartment soon. I still can't believe it. Maria whispered. Maybe it was a joke. No, that would be too cruel. What if he changes his mind tomorrow? After all, this apartment is too expensive. Maria, my love, let's be happy. At least for today. Okay. Please, let's believe that miracles do happen. I hardly believe it myself, but I don't want to doubt it anymore. I'm sure Lionel wasn't kidding, and I don't think he'll change his mind. Let's enjoy this miracle. Soon, they got a call from Olivia. She wanted to thank and congratulate the people she considered almost her relatives. You know, Oliver, your help and your words that everything will be fine really saved me. I will always be grateful to you. Did Lionel visit you? I don't know what he's up to, but he's very grateful to you too. He brought us happiness too. Oliver replied. No, it was you who made everyone happy. Me, my family, yourself, and your family. simply by being a kind and understanding person. Oliver and Maria waited for the end of the Christmas holidays eagerly but anxiously. They still couldn't believe their happiness. However, after the holidays, Lionel did come to them. First, they went to the bank and then to a new spacious apartment in the heart of the city. Oliver and Maria couldn't believe their eyes. The apartment was much bigger than their house. It had a beautiful city view, and it already had some furniture. Maria leaned against the wall and cried with happiness. But Oliver was thinking with embarrassment about how pathetic their belongings, their utensils, and their furniture would look in this apartment. As it turned out, his wife was thinking about the same thing. 5 rooms. Oliver, but we don't even have enough furniture to furnish all the rooms. Don't worry. The main thing is that now we really have the apartment we dreamed of. We will take care of everything else. Not immediately, but gradually. Everything will be fine. We can even get a loan for the sake of such an apartment. You are right. Let's decide which room is gonna be our bedroom. They walked around the apartment, mentally placing furniture, hanging curtains, and pictures on the walls. Now, there was no doubt that soon they would be happily living in their new place, in their own spacious apartment. Can you imagine? In just a year we will no longer remember that we once lived in the old shabby house. Your old house will be our summer house, right? I can't wait to bring the kids here. Can you imagine how happy they'll be? Do you remember that we dreamed of having 3 children? You know, we can have one more child, because now we have everything we need for a comfortable life. Maria was making plans. If our dreams have started to come true, let this one come true too. Oliver laughed. However, if you have twins, even this huge apartment will seem cramped. They began to organize their new home and make plans for the future. The children now had their own rooms, and they were happy too. They quickly got used to the new stage of their life, but Maria sometimes felt ashamed, and she confessed this to her husband. You know, Oliver, sometimes I feel so ashamed of everything I said about Olivia. I didn't even know her, and yet, I spoke so rudely about her. But she turned out to be a very good person. Darling, just forget it. When she told me about her life, I thought badly of her too. It's a good thing I didn't say anything out loud, and I didn't spare money for her. I'm not saying all this because of the apartment. That day, I really just wanted to help her. I understand you perfectly. I have changed my mind not because of the apartment either. I was ashamed of my thoughts a long time ago. I will never think badly about people I don't know again. Maybe we became so happy because we didn't give in to our evil thoughts. Soon, the family became even happier than before. Maria found a good job in the neighborhood. Oliver stopped going away for months, too. He got a great position downtown. And they didn't forget Lionel, Olivia, and little Thomas. They didn't become best friends, but they called and congratulated each other on holidays. By the next Christmas, joyful things had happened in both families. Maria gave birth to another son, and Olivia gave birth to a cute baby girl. Oliver and Maria's friends and relatives, who knew the circumstances of their former lifestyle, wondered how they had managed to improve their standard of living so quickly. Maria, how did you manage to do that? It's just some kind of magic. Maria's mom told her. It's not magic at all, Mommy. I married not just a decent man, but the kindest and most noble man in the world. It turned out that doing good deeds is not only pleasant, but also useful. You are right, sweetheart. People always talk about karma, which certainly punishes mean people for their deeds. As it turns out, goodness also has the ability to return.